Let's go.
I'm Maylin Lee. I wear what I want, say what I want, 24/7, 365. I know, it's a lot. But I don't got time to mess around. Je me fromage blanc. All about that hustle, am I right? Poor town. This is gonna be the best year ever. And nothing's gonna get in my way.
May, breakfast is ready.
Coming.
It's gonna be me. Is everything okay?
I'm a gross red monster. Don't look at me. Stay back.
This happened already?
What did you say?
Our ancestors had a mystical connection with red pandas.
Are you kidding me?
This little quirk runs in our family.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for the 25th Pixar feature film, Turning Red. I'm Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Really happy for this big occasion, 25th movie. They made sure it was in theaters with a couple great shorts attached to it, you know, like a whole experience for the big 2-5.
Oh no, it looks like our Dylan's been replaced with the alternate universe Dylan in which there was no COVID and it was actually released in cinemas.
Saw it in IMAX, Dolby Vision.
Yeah, that was the thing because those two things were in the credits, right?
They're at the end of the credits, yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck. It would have been nice, yeah. But no, we and everybody else had to, well, a lot of people. I did see they did have some screenings, like press screenings or whatever beforehand.
That'll be right.
World premieres, and there was one week at El Capitan in Hollywood or whatever, but yeah. Yes, everybody else watched it on Disney+. The third consecutive Pixar film to debut on Disney+.
Yep.
Not the next one.
Not
the next one. That's for sure.
You sure? Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident they want to cash in on the next one.
Okay.
They're pretty confident that one's going to make money. Yes. So, please be aware, we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot, themes, and ending of this movie. So, if you've watched it, come back later. With that said, let's jump to a discussion of Turning Red, directed by Domee Shi, screenplay by Julia Cho and Domee Shi, story by Domee Shi, Julia Cho, Sarah Streicher, starring Rosalie, Chiang, Sandra Oh, Ava Morse, Hyein Park, Maitreyi, Ramakrishnan, Orion Lee, Ching Ho, Tristan Allerick, Chen, and James Hong. Maitreyi is a confident, dorky 13-year-old torn between staying her mother's dutiful daughter and the chaos of adolescence. And as if changes to her interests, relationships, and body weren't enough, whenever she gets too excited, which for a teenager is practically always, she poofs into a giant red panda. Dylan, you haven't particularly liked the last couple of Pixar movies, which I like to joke about a lot in this. Anytime we bring up Pixar. But what did you think of Turning Red?
Well, just like the last two. No, I'm joking. No, I really like this one. This one was really good. I think the thing that I gravitated to and was early on, I was like, oh, Pixar's doing an anime movie. Like, you know, from like the animation style all the way through to the, you know, the eye, you know, the lovey eye, sparkle eye, whatever the anime eye thing. Even the plot was reminding me of Fruits Basket, which is probably my favorite. Well, I mean, it's not like it's a niche anime. Fruits Basket's probably
pretty popular. It's
pretty popular. But
done
as far as like, as far as what the fuck's that genre called? Whatever, I can't remember. Just, you know, life animes go. That's the one I
Slice
like
of
the
Life,
most.
yeah.
Yeah, Slice of Life. And Fruits Basket, in case you've never seen it, is an anime in which it's like a house of, I don't know, 15, 20, so I don't remember, a few people, and they're all like cursed or whatever, they got the powers, and it's like if they get anxious or upset or whatever, they turn into animals. So for some reason, I don't know if that was like on purpose, but I mean, not to say that this is ripping on Fruits Basket, it's just that soul. It's like having the anime aesthetic with the power thing that just sort of made me go, oh, there you go. Gravitate towards this. Fruits Basket reference. There we go. Or inspired by it. I have no idea. There's plenty of other animes and stuff that have done similar tropes and ideas. So it's not like it's a wholly original thing. But yeah, I think also the characters are all great. I think this having a anime, like a Disney Pixar thing where it's not like they've done like recently they've been doing a lot more leading roles for females, but this is like the first one, I guess, that's not fantasy or you know what I mean? Like it's just
I mean, it kind of is.
I know it is.
It's set in the real world and tackles real world kind of issues, but it's not dory.
No, yeah, exactly. I feel like there's a lot in this that that you've never seen in an animated movie before that young girls would certainly appreciate, or girls in general, I guess. Just I've already seen people tweeting about the pad scene, the scene, like just the fact that there's a bunch of girls talking about young girls talking about boys, and you know, like it's just the boy band stuff, but it's not like over dramatized to the point that's like sort of parodying. It's just sort of realistic and fun and all that. So I loved all the characters. I thought they were great. The animation's great. The swerve at the end where it basically becomes an anime. I thought it was going to become an anime fight. Like them. I also really appreciated that it doesn't fall into the. I don't know if this is right. Like, I would say it's a Chinese trope to have the younger family member always fighting like, oh, I have to get away from you, blah blah blah. You know, you're holding me back. Whereas I feel like this more plays into like it sets it up early in the movie that she does like her parents or her mum is specifically, I guess, like restrictive and she's hiding stuff. But the end goal of the movie is not to be like, fuck you, mum, I've escaped you, you know, and you're holding me back. It's like more meeting in the middle ground and like getting along. And the movie early sets up that she both loves her friends and generally loves hanging out with her mum as well. And it doesn't follow. Would that be a trope? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, though, don't you? Know
yeah,
what I mean?
I think like overprotective mothers and that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
I think that would be probably a common thing in depictions of Asian parents.
Yeah.
Not as stereotypical as like they want you to be doctors or whatever, but you know, it's up there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it as well. I think it's right up there with some of the most beautifully animated Pixar movies we've seen. And we've seen some beautiful ones. But yeah, the way they've managed to merge like some of those anime aspects, like the dovey eyes and like that kind of stuff, and even the way their faces like turn red and some of like just the expressions on the characters' faces feel very anime. Yeah, and the storyline is like very fun and like, you know, sure it's meant to be a little bit like a girl going through puberty, but I think it's probably like more about just general change or like learning to be yourself and that kind of stuff, which I think is very relatable and a lot of people can relate to, unlike that one person that everybody was dunking on for last week.
That one person, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone's allowed their opinion, but that was just a weird one. like this film won't be relatable to anyone who's lived in this exact area of Toronto.
Except 13-year-old Asian girls in Toronto who turn into giant pandas. Yeah.
Weird take.
Yeah. I think, all the characters are really interesting, and like, I think she just has a very different attitude to any other Pixar character we've seen so far. Especially like that opening of her like talking to camera and like letting you know about herself and her life and everything. That's really fun. Anything to do with the pandas, like super adorable, and like I think, you know, red panda sales are going to go, like toy sales are going to go through the roof from after this, I would imagine. Because it is super adorable, and it's totally that scam they were running would totally work.
I mean, they also rip off Illumination in this with the "It's so fluffy" line.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
yeah,
it's so fluffy.
She's so fluffy.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, there might be some like lawsuits coming. But yeah, I thought the mother Mei Ling or whatever. No, that's the main character. What's the mother?
Sandra Oh.
Yeah, Sandra Oh's character who was it?
Ming?
Yeah, Ming
This
Lee.
is Ming.
Ming.
Yeah.
She has an interesting arc where, like, she's obviously wants her daughter to be a certain way, but, like, understands where she's coming from. She's also had that kind of past trauma of, like, of her backstory of dealing with the exact same thing. I think,
her mother.
And her mother, which is interesting. Interesting, this movie comes out, and you can compare it to Encanto, which is a similar story of, like, family trauma and, like, gifts or curses being passed down, and how families react to the expectations of you they have and that kind of stuff. It's like an interesting juxtaposition. I mean, it's also interesting to compare this to Domee Shi's short that probably
Bao?
Bao,
What a Bao. Yeah.
Bao, which got her Academy Award winning, which tells kind of a different, similar kind of tale, except it's a father-son, son-mother relationship. Whereas this is
and in 5 minutes.
and in 5 minutes. Although it's funny, I was reading up, apparently during an interview on beforehand, someone asked, like, before, around the time of Bao, someone asked her why it was a son, not a daughter. She said, for a mother-daughter relationship, I needed to do it in a feature film. So, she finally got it. Needed that long to break down that relationship. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting. There's so many, like, funny little moments. Like, even the first time she's, like, drawing in her sketchbook absent-mindedly, and then she starts to get super attracted to this anime drawn character she's drawn in her book, and then she freaks out and just her rolling around under a bed and then proceeding to sketch more weird stuff.
And it's like a mermaid.
Yeah, it's a mermaid.
Yeah.
And
Good reasons.
I mean, I've never had an experience like that where, like, the mother did, taking her to the store to yell that
That
dude.
was such. I was watching that scene. I was thinking about you watching this and going, "That was probably the scene you hate most in this movie," because that was that sort of shit you hate watching. People's embarrassment.
That's like super like felt that. It's like like anytime your parent do anything, it's like the most embarrassing. That was like the key depiction of, like, the most embarrassing thing your parents have ever put you through. Yeah.
Except I wouldn't have got in the car.
I would have walked.
I would have done. Yeah, I would have walked away. I would have kicked and screamed. I would have not got in that car.
Yeah.
that's a different.
Moved to another country.
Yeah, I would have moved to another country. Yeah. I mean, I've done the thing when I was a kid before, when I kicked the soccer ball and I, like, broke my dad's side mirror. And I literally just walked out. I hit the road. I started walking down the road. And I'm like, well, I've got to go find somewhere else to live now.
Yeah. Another interesting aspect of this, like, I mean, we'll talk about the panda. How about that? It's a really interesting backstory of, like, obviously this family had a curse. Like, the mother loved this great ancestor, loved red pandas, and needed their protection to, like, help survive battles or whatever. And then obviously that legacy has been passed down. But, like, the way they kind of explore that, and then, like, the explanation feels really, it could be possible, who knows? And then like, at the end, obviously, with all the aunties and the grandmother are, like, breaking their charms to become red pandas to help the Ching's red panda, because that's a big red panda. It's a long kaiju at the end.
That's a very big red panda. When that shot of her, I mean, they set it up because they kept saying that how your mother's panda was big, it was huge. Her dad or whatever. Yeah, shout out to that dad, by the way.
Yeah, very Asian.
And then when there's that shot where she, like, lands in the Forever, what are they called? Four Town. The band? Four Town. When she lands in that concert and it has that quick shot of, like, the mum coming down the street, that's very, like, kaiju, like Godzilla in this distance.
Yeah. I also love her chase through the city as she's running home, like, from school. That was beautiful. Beautifully done.
That's one that showed most in the original teaser. I think a bunch of the stuff from that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed, like, the friendship group as well. I think, like, she's got this really interesting group of dorky friends who are all, like, all super supportive in that. And, like, they even take her back when she throws them under the bus.
Throws them under the bus. Looked after the Tamagotchi.
Yeah, it's interesting that this movie is set in 2002.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's just where they wanted to
Just more relatable for them.
Domee Shi, like maybe that maybe because that's when they like how old is she? I don't know.
I think
born 1989, so yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, early 2002. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe that's why. Out of the friendship group, the one I like the most is the weird girl.
Miriam. The main.
Is that Miriam? No, not the main one. The one off to her side. She was like the weirder one. I don't know. I can't.
Abby, who doesn't like talk much and like just.
She's like, can you see this picture? She's on the left near my finger there.
Oh, the yellow top.
Yeah,
that would be the other named one. Priya.
There you go.
Yeah,
she was my favorite.
Okay, that's interesting.
She was the weird one.
Yeah, I think they also like subtly like implied that like maybe she was like, into girls maybe, like during the party.
They have like that one thing in the party, but I'm like, I can't do this.
Well, I mean, Pixar did come out with like a press release thing. The employees like saying that Disney's obviously shut down anything overt about wanting to have like those sort of things in their movies, but yeah, it's kind of you can point it out, but you can't really you
can't say gay.
Yeah, you can't say. Wow.
That's literally yeah.
The other interesting aspect of this is like the whole boy band thing about it. It's like it's such a weird but like totally relatable touchstone for that period of time where there seemed to be a boy band every other week.
Oh yeah, 2002. This is like Justin Timberlake.
This is like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
NSYNC, yeah, Backstreet.
5.
Yeah.
Like peak boy band era. Like
so that makes sense. You couldn't do it. That's why the movie's set in 2002. No other reason other than they wanted a realistic time for a boy band to be popular. Because these days, if you made a movie in 2022,
it would be a K-pop.
It would be a K-pop. BTS, that's literally that. Yeah, that's literally the only group. You can't do an American boy band. It has to be K-pop.
Yeah.
That's like, them at the end when they start singing. They go like full fangirl, especially with old mate who turns out to be a super fan. The bully.
Yeah, it was an interesting side story, and like he becomes part of the group at the end.
Yeah. What she's like, you're a forever or two or something.
Yeah. Very,
I like how they don't lay shit on him. They just invite him in straight away.
Yeah. Well, she did nearly murder him at his own party.
That's true. But
he deserved it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, let's be fair.
This would be absolutely fair. Another thing I loved was the dad cooking the food and like the slow close-ups of him cutting and preparing the food. I thought I was watching Ratatouille for a second. Freaking crazy.
Just getting hungry for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Like lots of cool food. I think one of the best sequences is like her first time that she turns into a giant panda and her like freaking out in the bathroom and her mum confusing it with her menstruating for the first time. Very amusing scene and very well done. Like across the board, like so many good moments, I feel like, throughout the thing. Yeah, so how obviously you really liked it. What are your expectations of Pixar going forward? I mean, this is surprisingly the first film directed solo by a female director. But we have been seeing a lot of like new voices at Pixar the last few years. Like of course, Pete Docter directed Onward, but before him, I guess Lee Unkrich with Coco. So like, well, that's probably not that long ago. And Brad Bird, I guess, incredible. So, but like, yeah, okay.
I mean, what's after Lightyear? I don't actually know.
Nothing is said after Lightyear. The next movie is 2023. So,
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is. I mean, I was gonna say this is a lot more interesting to me, but I am like slightly. I'm interested in Lightyear too, and that's like a returning property, so it's hard to say. But I mean, the reasons I didn't like Soul and Luca I've talked about, and I didn't hate either. I just thought they were fine. Like that's the meme is. They're fine. I think this is really good. I hope that Lightyear's a success because it's apparently the director talking about it being not a Toy Story movie the other day and saying it's a fucking talking about like it's 2001 A Space Odyssey and all this stuff. I'm like,
yeah, hyping it up like huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, sure, all right. Get me. I'm going anyway, but you got my money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they continue experimenting with different stories from around the world with different types of, I don't know, cultures and people and stuff, and not just doing the same sort of shit, or just instead of doing I feel like back in the day, it's like, oh, look, we want to tell this story. It's not about a white person, so how about we turn them into a car? Because then people will watch it. The white people will watch it instead. You know, like let's just fall back into doing toys and cars and whatever else instead of just doing actual people from different races and different parts of the world and genders or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do that stuff still, that's fine. I mean,
that's fine, but I feel like that was honestly a reason for half of it. Like,
I mean, that's their turning into stuff trilogy, really. Black dude turns into some soul, white kid turns into a sea monster. I guess, or little girl turns into a giant panda. So,
yeah. Black guy kind of turned into white guys. That was my sole reason. I'm still a bit iffy on soul.
I think there's a lot to be excited about. Like, obviously, a lot of new voices and a lot of. Well, I don't think Pixar is universal as it once was, which is fine. Like, obviously, there were people who loved Soul. There were people who loved Luca. And I'm sure there's going to be people who don't like Turning Red. It's like, that's what makes it interesting. It's like unique voices that don't necessarily work for everybody, but will be loved by certain people. I think is good and important. I would also recommend checking out Embrace the Panda, which is the making of kind of special featurette thing that they've added on Disney Plus. They released at the same time with interviews with the key creative team, who are like all female, so that like that's a thing that's like for the first time. Even though like the main producer has been there since like A Bug's Life, and like the I think she's special effects producer has been there for a very long time as well. Really interesting. I think like to hear all those voices and like kind of get a little impression of the making of Turning Red and the inspirations and that kind of stuff. Although it threw me off through the entire thing. They regularly refer to it as a show, as they're coming onto the show. I don't know what the story is there.
You're talking about like that show, as in like the thing they're
no, referring as in to the Turning Red. So whether Red at some point was going to be a TV show and then got changed, or it's just how they refer to it in
maybe that's
Pixar.
just how they refer to it. Yeah.
Because obviously it's like I guess because it's like built up of like a bunch of scenes, so like everybody's working on their own episodes or whatever for who knows.
Possibly.
But yeah, Turning Red, available now on Disney Plus. We really enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought Turning Red by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into a Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or give us 5 stars or anywhere they can let you give 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you like this episode, thought it was worth it all, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much, and until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.
My whole life I've been perfect little May May. But maybe I like this new me.
Mama's girls. It's gonna be me.
But Dylan, what would you like to turn into a giant animal creature of?
Barracuda.
What?